because you want an attractive body that makes women lust over you and men respect you. I'm here to teach you how to do that. Now, you've already seen from my body transformation video that I have transformed my body from being skinny and not appealing at all to something that is more attractive and more respected. I'm here to teach you how to do that. But first, you need to make yourself accountable. You need to say to yourself, I have a shit body and I need to improve it. If you can do that, then you can take the next step. Now you need to go to a gym. You need to go to the weightlifting session and you need to lift weights. You can't do this by doing cardio or just running or doing anything else. You need to lift weights. Now there are two specific muscles that you need to train in order to have an aesthetic body. And what I mean by an aesthetic body is a V-taper. A body where you have broad shoulders, which goes down in a V line down to your waist. You need to have that because that's what women lust over. Psychologically, when women see that kind of body in a man, they are more attracted to that man. It's exactly like how when we see a woman with an hourglass shape, we are instantly attracted to that. Women have that with the V-taper. So you need to build these two muscles in particular. Now those two muscles are your side delts and your lats. You need to build those two muscles because those are going to give you the attractive V-taper. Now the way to build your side delts is to do some sort of lateral raise. What I do is I do 18 sets per week for this muscle group. Now my training split is an upper-lower split with an extra pull session in the middle of that week. Now I have that extra pull session in because my back is definitely my most lacking muscle group. That's why. So I have the ability to train my side delts for 3 times a week. Some people may think that this is too much, but as long as you're getting sufficient sleep and you're eating enough calories to rest and recover, you'll be fine. At the start of the session, I will do cable lateral raises for 3 sets of reps ranging in between from 10 to 20 reps. And then at the end of the session, I will do dumbbell lateral raises for 3 sets of 10 to 20. That way I make sure that at the end of my session, my side delts are totally burned out and that I've trained them to failure and they are sure to grow. Now, in order to train your lats, it's a little bit trickier. Your lats are responsible for elbow abduction. So what you need to do is do some sort of pulling movement where you're pulling your elbow down to your side. Now you can do this in the form of cables or you can do it in the form of pull downs or pullovers. What I personally do is I do pullovers and I do cables. I make sure to have a pronated grip and my elbow in a locked and fixed position because that way I'm sure that my biceps won't get involved because that's what is going to hinder you from growing your lats is probably your biceps. Your bicep really wants to get involved because when you're doing some sort of pulling movement, you're probably also reducing the angle of your elbow and that way your bicep is getting involved. So what you need to do is make sure that your elbow is in a fixed position and that you're only abducting it so that it's only your lats that are working. Right now I do 18 sets a week for my lats. The exercises that I'm doing are cable flies and lat pullovers. And on my pull day, I also do single arm lat pull downs. This way I am sure that my lats are completely fatigued and that I'm sure to grow them. Because in the past, I've had trouble growing my lats because I've never really felt my lats before. So if you're in the same situation, I urge you to find exercises where you are feeling your lats more. Because that way you are sure that they are growing. Now, if you're skinny, like I was, you need to bulk. You don't need all of this main gaining or maintaining or just eating a little bit more. You need to bulk. You need to put on as much weight as possible. Once you've done that, you can then cut and then you can see the progress that you've made. Now, what do I mean with a bulk? A bulk is basically where you eat more calories than you're consuming. This means that if you are currently burning 2,500 calories a day, you eat in a surplus of, let's say, 400 calories. So that way you're intaking 2,900 calories a day. This way you're going to gain weight no matter what. Now we want these calories to come from healthy foods like chicken and rice and broccoli and steak, eggs, milk, anything that is healthy and has a lot of protein, because protein is what you need to build muscle. Now I already talked about my training split, about it being an upper lower split with an extra pull day set in. But if you're a beginner lifter, you probably need to start with a full body workout. What I did was I did full body for 3 times a week, where there was at least 1 or 2 days in between workout days. That way I'm sure that my whole entire body is rested, because you need recovery in order to build muscle. Your muscles aren't built in the gym. They're built when you're sleeping and recovering. So what I'd say for you is you need to do a full body workout split for 3 times a week. Now you can do that for about 3 or 4 months. And then after that, you can adjust your training split to the time that you have in your schedule. If you have a very open schedule, I would say you need to do a push-pull leg split, which is where you train a push session, where you train shoulders, triceps, and chest in the same day. And then you do a pull day, where you train biceps and back. And then lastly, legs, where you train your legs. You do this 6 times a week. So you do push-pull legs, then you rest, and then you do push-pull legs and rest again. This is great if you want to target very specific muscles. It gives you a lot of time to do a lot of isolation exercises, because you just have the window of opportunity to do that. Now, if your schedule is a little bit more packed, I would say you do like me and go with an upper lower split. Upper lower split is where you train your upper body, which includes your chest, back, arms, and shoulders. And then you do a lower day, which is just your legs. And if you want to, you can train abs on this day as well. You do this 4 times a week. So you do upper, lower, and then rest day, then another upper, lower, and then a rest day and a rest day again. The upper lower split has really helped me build a lot of muscle, especially since it promotes a lot of recovery, which is, like we said before, the thing that you need to build muscle. What you also need to do in order to build a lot of muscle is you need to train correctly. You need to implement something called progressive overload. Now, what progressive overload means is you train harder than you did the last session. So let's say that you do an upper lower split and you train upper 3 days ago. Now let's say that you did 13 reps with 15 kilograms on incline bench press. What you need to do in the next session is you need to do 14 reps instead of 13 reps. What I do is I range my rep range from 10 to 15 reps, where once I get to 15 reps, I up the weight until I can do 10 reps. And then each session, I progressively add 1 more rep to each set. That way, I'm sure that I'm implementing progressive overload. And as soon as I get to 15 reps again, I then add more weight so that I can only do 10 reps again. This is the principle of progressive overload, and it's the only way that you're going to build muscle. Now, if you're just a beginner, you're going to build muscle just by being in the gym and doing some workouts, because you have newbie gains. Your body hasn't yet experienced what it's like to build muscle, so you're going to build muscle very easily. But I would say as soon as you start lifting and you're on an optimized workout program with optimized ways of training and eating and everything, you're going to make so much progress. And progress is what we want, because progress is what motivates us. So I want you to make sure that once you're going in the gym, you know everything that you need to do so that you can be on an optimized level where you are building the most amount of muscle that you can possibly do. Now let's talk about diet. Some people are going to say that you can just do something called a dirty bulk, where you eat a lot of fast food, you eat a lot of processed food, a lot of food with sugar in it. These are great because they have high calories. They are very dense foods with a lot of calories, and they're easy to get down, so you can get a lot of calories in by doing this. But what's very shit about this is those calories are not good for you. You know that if you ate ice cream instead of rice, that you would get more from the rice than you would from the ice cream. They're both carbohydrates, but the rice is more healthy carbohydrates. So what I would suggest you do is you do a mix of clean bulking and dirty bulking. I know that it's very hard for skinny guys to put on a lot of weight because we just can't eat food. We hate food and we don't want to eat food. Eating food makes us exhausted. It drains energy from us to eat food. So what I suggest is liquid calories. It's way easier to drink 1,000 calories than it is to eat 1,000 calories. So what I would suggest you do is you make some sort of protein shake in the morning along with your breakfast, because you can eat and drink both of those things, because it's just so easy to get liquid calories down. Now you pack this protein shake full of protein powder and milk and grains and maybe a couple of fruits and most of all peanut butter, because peanut butter is very high in both fat and protein and calories. So it's very, very good for you to put in your protein shake. Now let's talk about supplements, because you may want to use some supplements. A lot of supplements are a scam and you don't need to use them at all. I, for myself, only use 2 supplements. I use protein powder and I use creatine. Specifically creatine monohydrate, because it is shown to have the best effect on your muscle building process. I chuck 5 grams of creatine in my protein shake in the morning and then I'm done with that. But if you're taking creatine, you also need to drink a lot of water, because you need to keep your liver balanced. Or else you're going to get liver damage, you can potentially get liver failure. So make sure that you're drinking enough water each day. I would suggest at least 2 liters of water per day. That might sound like a lot, but just always have water with you. And then you'll be drinking it as long as it's just near you and accessible. Now I've told you all the tips, all the dieting, all the training tips, but now I'm going to show you what kind of workout you should be doing as a beginner. If you want the most growth, this, in my opinion, is probably the best workout for you to start with for at least 3 to 4 months. First, you start with barbell squats. Do these for about 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Then you move on to a leg pressing movement. Again, sets of 3 of 10 to 15 reps. After that, you can move on to a lat pull down, specifically wide grip so that you target your lats more. Then you do cable flies. You do these so that you can build your traps. Then you move on to incline dumbbell press so that you can build your upper chest. And then after that, you move on to chest flies so that you can build your middle chest. Right now, we don't need to worry about your lower chest because you're just a beginner.
Then you do any sort of lateral raises. This can be in the form of cables, dumbbells, or machines if it's available. Make sure to do 3 sets of these, and I like to do them for higher reps, so I would say do them for about 10 to 20 reps. Then for some extra lat development, you do single arm dumbbell rows. You do these for 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Make sure to row in a more of an arc-like motion so that you negate your bicep activation, and make sure it's only your lats doing all the work.
At the end of the session, you do some sort of tricep extension, and then you also do some sort of curling movement. You can either do dumbbell curls or hammer curls, anything so that you isolate your biceps. And then if you want to train your abs, you can at the end of the session do plank until failure for about 3 sets. I hope this helps. Good luck and see you soon.